It's good. Yeah, I think I'm live now.
Yeah,
All right, everyone. Here's James and Kelly. Thanks for joining us today. I know it's a Sunday, my afternoon. It's at Kelly your evening, right? And
that's it. Yeah,
probably some of you probably in the late evening or no, even midnight right now. So yeah, thanks for being here. And this is actually my first time having a live session on a Sunday, and just want to test different times and which one works better for our audience. And thanks, Kelly, very much for being here on a Sunday evening as well. So today we're going to talk about basically Kelly's journey from a primary teacher to a tutor and business owner. For those of you who are interested in her journey, we're gonna dive very deep into her journey, and feel free to ask questions. But before we get started, I want to double check on the technology side of things, because we are using StreamYard and there's some problem with Facebook right now. I don't know anyone can let us know where you're watching. Are you watching on LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook? We'll try to make sure we are live everywhere. Oh, 3 a.m. From South Korea.
that's amazing.
Thank you. This is amazing. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that very much. And anyone else watching live right now, if you can let us know where you're watching. From Tennessee, teacher Kitty. Hey, Kitty. Hey, Kitty. Uh, Yep. So count YouTube. Thank you. And Kitty is 2 p.m. Eastern. Yes, thank you. So I think we have some problem here with Facebook. So what I'm gonna do is, hey Kelly, maybe we can just dive into it right now. I'll let you talk, spend some time talking about your experience while I'm fixing Facebook and same
Yeah,
time.
sure. I'll take over.
Okay, thank you.
I'll take it from here, James. No problem. Yeah. So, hello everybody. It's really, really exciting to be here with James tonight. And thank you so much for joining. So, I'm Callie, and I run a Primary Tutor Project, so a tuition company based in the UK, as I'm sure you can tell from my accent. And I used to be a primary school teacher. So my journey through teaching has been quite varied over the years. I started off by teaching ESL, so English as a second language, over in South America. When I was in my early 20s, and fell in love with teaching and decided that I must pursue it as a career. So then I came back to the UK, got my teaching certificate, and then went into teaching and absolutely loved it. I loved the working with children, working with amazing teachers, but it was, as I'm sure if there's any teachers watching this, it's pretty hardcore. So it's my partner told me that I'd have a bit of a mental breakdown twice a year. It was like a biannual thing. And so yeah, so it was a lot, and I loved it, but also it was quite exhausting. So I was always sort of thinking about how I could have more flexibility, have more adventure in my life. So in 2019, took the plunge and left teaching in the UK and moved to Japan. So went back to teaching over in Japan, teaching English as a second language, and yeah, and I loved it. But yeah, it wasn't meant to be forever. So James, did you fix the Facebook?
Yes, I got reconnected to Facebook. So anyone who's watching from Facebook, just wanted to make sure I actually fixed it. Yeah, there's some problem with Facebook. They always change things. Whenever they change things, then all the third party have to change things. It's kind of annoying. But anyways, yeah, thanks for sharing your journey with us, Kelly. I guess you mentioned a couple of things. I think that's a kind of common thing I always hear from teachers, right? It's not easy to be a teacher, and there are a lot of meme like pictures online. Actually, I came across one today. So how teacher was like tied up, like so energized in September every year, and then the next picture next to it was like how teachers looking angry and like frustrated in May. It's
Yes,
like
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what exactly you talk about, right? So yeah, it's hard, and handling students, handling parents, right? Not only this, you have to handle the admin, right? The administration, the supporting team. Oh my god, I
yeah,
can't imagine how you guys do it. All right,
yeah.
so besides your no not the best experience as a primary teacher, so what else that kind of made you think to try this, right? Start your own tutoring business. What else that give you,
Yeah.
yeah,
So the big spanner in the works was the pandemic. So I was over in Japan when the pandemic started. So I had got a teaching job lined up in an international school in Singapore. So this was kind of like the next step for me. I was about to head over to Singapore. It was the last couple of months before I was leaving Japan for Singapore. And I was so excited about it. And then the world went into lockdown. I sort of after a month or so, we realised that we were in it for the long haul with the pandemic, and that I wasn't going to be able to go over to Singapore anytime soon. So at that point, I made the decision to come back to the UK. And I was kind of in this, as a lot of people were at the time, this sort of like period of uncertainty and sort of not knowing what was going to happen next. All the schools in the UK at that point were all closed. So everything was like learning online, and there were a huge number of pupils outside of school. So that's when I made the decision to start tutoring. And of course, at the time, the only way to tutor was online.
yeah,
So took the plunge to start tutoring. And to begin with, for me, it was, to begin with, to be honest, I didn't see it as a career choice. I didn't see it as something that could be a business. And I kind of just went into it as a bit of a stopgap during the pandemic. And it was sort of, and it was probably about my first year of tutoring was like that. And I was sort of thinking, okay, when everything opens up again, I'll do X, Y, Z. And then everything started opening up, and I realized actually like my schedule was full as a tutor. And I just loved it. It was so much more flexible. I could do all the stuff that I love doing, which was like the actual teaching part, without all the extra rubbish that goes with teaching in a school. So it was a bit of a no-brainer to stick with tutoring. And that's when I started seeing tutoring as a career and as a viable business option. And so at that point, I'd been teaching mainly for agencies, and sort of like had slowly started to build up some of my own client base. And I think this sort of realization that I wasn't going to go back to school anytime soon, that was me sort of making the decision that I needed to set it up as a real proper business. And so that's when I started Primary Tutor Project. And it's just given me so much more flexibility and the lifestyle that I want outside of teaching as well. So it was a good decision.
That's nice. Thank you for sharing that. And how long has it been since you started the primary tutor project?
So I started tutoring 4 years ago, and then Primary Tutor Project became a thing 3 years ago about.
Okay.
And I can't believe how quickly the time goes. But yeah.
Good. I started this business, the Bowie strategy, in January 2019. It's been over 5 years. So yeah, just like, oh my God, I'm just like, and I didn't know because you get yourself very busy with the business. You always learn new things. You always feel like don't have enough time. You just have so many ideas, and you never feel bored, right, with your own business. Yeah. So how maybe for those of you who are not familiar with your background and primary tutor project, so maybe you can tell us a little bit more about your operation right now. How many people? How many students? How many tutors? What do you guys teach at primary tutor project?
Yeah, so Primary Tutor Project, we're an online tuition business, and we specialise in primary education. So we teach mainly maths and English for primary school children all over the world now, which is the wonders of online tutoring. But so So yeah, so at the moment it stands that we've taught about 150 students over 14 countries,
Wow.
which feels quite amazing when you quantify it like that.
That's great.
Yeah, and so it started off 3 years ago just with me as the independent tutor, and over the years it's grown into, I now run it as an agency, so I have 15 other teachers working with me. So they're independent tutors as well. Some of them, they're all primary school teachers, and some of them are tutoring part-time and then maybe teaching in school still part-time as sort of like that bridge into pursuing this as a full-time career. Some of them are full-time tutors. Some of them are, lots of them actually are parents, so are juggling so the tutoring alongside the full-time job that is parenting, as you're aware, James.
Sure.
But yeah, so I feel very fortunate. I've got a really amazing team of educators who are so supportive. In fact, I messaged on our WhatsApp sort of team WhatsApp group just before this to say that I was going live, and everyone was like, "You're going to be amazing, Callie. It'll be great." So yeah, a really supportive bunch, and they're brilliant teachers. So yeah, feel very blessed.
That's great. Thanks for sharing that, Kelly. So I guess for the audience, right, who's watching right now, if you have any questions about Kelly, and if you are thinking about doing similar things to what she has done, right, if there are any concerns, questions, things you want to figure out, feel free to ask in the chat, and we're definitely going to come back to you at the end if we don't already answer it. Okay. So I'm just thinking about, from my experience, we've been working with teachers for over 5 years now, covering quite a high range of teachers, school teachers, independent teachers, freelancers, teachers working for agencies, schools, companies. Teachers are independently, marketing their business, getting students, right? Kind of a whole spectrum of teachers we're working with. I guess I want to ask a question for these teachers who are still in school, right? The school teachers, that was who you were before. I think the question they might have, right? No, I guess most teachers are experiencing these struggles, the challenges you faced before, and they might be thinking of doing something different, either side gig or go full in. Doesn't really matter, but doing something else to supplement their income, to create more flexibility, become less independent, less dependent on the schools and companies, right? But before they are ready to take the leap of faith, right, they might have a lot of concerns. So I guess for these primary teachers or teachers, not only primary teachers in schools right now, how would they know, like, this is for them? How would they know having a tutoring business or even just tutoring online is for them? Like, what would you tell them that?
Do you know what I think? I think that the biggest concern that I hear amongst teachers thinking that they want to leave the classroom and thinking about tutoring or something similar is the financial security. And of course, when you've got a mortgage, you've got kids, like that, it's such a huge pressure and a scary leap of faith to make. But like, compared to any other business, the outset of becoming an online tutor or tutoring in person is so minimal, and there's so little risk associated with it, and you can do it so easily, just like as a side gig. Like, you could have one student a week just to test it out. Like, there's not like a huge commitment to saying, right, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to leave and start this up. You can just start small and see if you like it and see how it works and get an understanding and a feel for how it works as a business before taking that leap. And as I mentioned, like, I've got a few tutors who are working for me who are still part-time in a school, or I'm not sure what you call it in the US, but supply teaching in schools alongside building their tuition business. So there are ways that you can sort of take micro steps to doing this without it being a big commitment. And I started up by working with a load of agencies, and it was so simple. Like, you just sign yourself up to an agency. They're so happy to have you, particularly as a qualified teacher. And you know, they do all that hard work for you, that they do all that admin, finding students, managing payments and everything. So it's like a nice, gentle step into understanding the tuition business. And working with those agencies enabled me to see how I could apply that then in setting up my own agency, and sort of the systems that go on behind the scenes, and how to deal with parents, and, you know, all of these things. I could then apply that myself and do it as my own business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you recommend trying with the agencies as the first step for teachers really like concerned or not sure if this is for them?
I really think, like, if you're not sure that you want that to be your business, if you just want it to do it as a bit of side hustle, extra cash, it's really the easiest way to do it. There are so many agencies, like small boutique micro agencies like myself, to massive corporations, from online to offline, that, like, there's so much variety out there. And a lot of, like, the tuition business is growing exponentially. Like, there's so much opportunity out there. So as a teacher, you're hot property, like.
Due to COVID, right? The online tuition, the online education has grown so much. So I guess because you left working with agency after a year, you know, some of the teachers might be curious, why did you leave? If working for agency can be a good starting point, right? Why didn't you stay? Why did you leave?
That's a really good question. Yeah. So I loved the ease of it, but I realized that I could do it myself. Like, I'd learned enough, and I was in a position where I was starting to get a higher and higher percentage of my students were like direct students. So that was kind of like the crux. And I didn't just drop all the agency work straight away. I, like, you know, as students dropped off naturally, then I replaced them only with my own work. So I did it as a really gradual process, and that enabled me to, like, not risk losing my income, basically, through that sort of transition time. So yeah, and I love the autonomy of running my own business. I can do everything my way, and yeah, it's just
and also
it was the right step.
And more, I guess, more potential there, right? Because the sky is the limit now when you run your own business, not being controlled by others, and also paying others for, you know, the commission and all that. That's great. So I'm just, I think that question's for, I will imagine all the primary teachers, you know, school teacher, middle school teacher, high school teachers, even, you know, professors, right? Still in this academic environment, they have so much unknown, right? Maybe working for an agency first to explore, but if you want more autonomy, more flexibility, more potential, I think very natural to you, at least, right? Just moving on to the next step, right? Having your own tutoring business. So next question I will ask, probably for many teachers we worked with before. So they start their tutoring, their teaching business, and at first with their own kind of business themselves, right? At a very low, very small scale. So now you have grown your team to a much bigger team. You have like over 100 students, right? I guess some of you guys can ask as well, right? If you're watching right now. So what's like, a lot of people might want to grow as well. Like, what would be things that you would suggest, like if some of them want to scale, right, to get to the next level, now just like doing it themselves? What's the learnings or takeaways or anything you want to share with them to better prep them?
Yeah, so I think I learned everything through trial and error. which isn't the way to go. And I think, you know, when I started doing this, even 3 years ago, there wasn't really that much support out there at that point. I think in the last couple of years, there's just been such a blow up in other businesses that are offering support for people setting up a business. So I would say, from all my trial and error, the key sort of things that I've learned is, number one, to, like, I think the key thing is changing your mindset from being a teacher mindset to having a business mindset. And that's a really hard thing to do as a teacher, because particularly if you've been like in public education, like you're so used to working all the overtime for free and giving everything your love for free. Like, and as a business owner, you can still be have your heart in the business and your heart with your students, but you have to develop a business mindset. Otherwise, it's not going to be viable. And I think that like you have to teach yourself to do that, or you have to be taught to do that. It's not something that just happens and comes naturally. So I would say the biggest thing I would recommend people do if they're wanting to grow their tuition business is seek support. So over the last couple of years, I've had different business mentors and working with like other peer groups who are in tuition business, seeking advice from like the countless Facebook support groups that are out there to be able to learn all the things that I needed to be able to run a business effectively and efficiently. So there are so many things available out there, but one thing I did last year, which was amazing, was a business mentoring program through Santander Bank. And there are loads of things out there like that, and that was free. And my mentor gave me so much knowledge. And one of the big things was he sort of said was, find yourself as a business owner your own board of directors. And those are the people in your life that you can like go to for advice on running your business and things that, you know, perhaps you don't know so well. So things like finance or marketing or whatever it might be. Find yourself a group of people who can offer you that guidance and support. And I think that's probably been like the biggest thing that's enabled me to scale and grow the business. And, you know, like your Facebook group and sort of like the things that you're running, James, like things like that, like it's so valuable to be able to take yourself from here and quickly accelerate up to here. So that's probably my number one. And then my number two is automate and delegate. So you have to get to this point, as if you want to scale, that you have to make the commitment and bite the bullet and spend the money to automate tasks, whether that's using different softwares and so on, and delegate tasks. So like recently I've had someone supporting me with my marketing and social media, and it's been a game changer because she does like 2 hours a week for me and saves me about 10 hours a week. You know, so I think that those things are really important too. But obviously you have to be at a certain point before you can make that investment. But so recognizing when that point comes is a big point.
Absolutely. So first you need to grow yourself, right? In order to have a much bigger business. And that's something I found as well. At one point, I became the bottleneck for my business because I'm not big enough to have a business much bigger than I have already. You have to grow yourself and also get people surround you. We call it masterminds, like people can really work with you, share knowledge and help you grow. And the other thing, dedication, automation. So you only have a 24/7, right? You just rely on yourself, right? Let's say if you didn't hire a team member to run your social media, that's 10 hours of time. 10 hours, and how many hours you can work in a week? Maybe 60 hours, 70 hours. That's like 1/6, 1/7 of the time you just saved. Of course, you have to invest. But that's kind of what you do when you grow your business. At first, you don't have to, you just use your time. But later on, how can you replicate yourself, right? So 1, 2, 3. So all of them are gonna do all this work, and also automation. Building the automation. That's very beautifully said there. So Kelly, that's great. And everyone who's watching, I know it's being quiet right now. So ask your questions. I do believe there must be something you love to know more from this conversation so far. And if you have enjoyed the conversation so far, please click on the like button to help us get this interview, get this session out there, so many more teachers and tutors can see this, can get inspired by our conversations. And thank you for doing that. If you haven't done that, just click on like button if you have enjoyed the session so far. So we're gonna move on to a few more topics, but before we do that, I do want to remind you get some of the recent updates from our side. So some of you probably know we have launched a event homepage. So I want to show you guys very quickly. We have an event homepage where I want you guys to make sure that you can bookmark the event homepage. I'm going to share the link with you guys in just a minute. So on this event homepage, that's where we update all the future events, public available events we run about with strategy, so you don't miss any events in the future. For example, in May, this is our first event with the Callie, and we have another event, teacher appreciation Zoom celebration. I'm going to talk about that later in this call as well if you're interested. And we have this 2-hour free workshop about how to turn your teaching expertise into recurring monthly income with memberships. So I'm going to run that workshop on May 23rd. Okay, so if you go to this homepage, I'm going to share this link with you. You will be able to watch all these events and register for all these events. All these events are free, and also the previous events you can watch. Click on the link and watch the replays. Okay, you can watch the replays or request all the recordings. Everything's here. Okay, I'm gonna share this this link with you. Make sure you bookmark it. And lately, we also did one more thing. We actually created a calendar that you can sync all of our events to your calendar. If you click on this, click here, and then you will be able to add our Bowie monthly event calendar to your calendar here by checking on which one you want to use. Most people probably going to use Google or Apple, right? Outlook, you click on this and this will generate the link and boom, add it to your calendar. And you don't need to worry about it because when we update our monthly event calendar, you will see them on your calendar. So, and you're gonna get reminders. So it's super convenient, and we did always just make sure that you don't miss any events, either joining us online or watch the recordings. Okay, I'm gonna share this link with you, and you can sync our calendar if you want to, or you can bookmark this event page. Okay, so just want to quickly share that. I didn't get a chance to share that at the beginning. All right, so back to the talk here, okay, with Callie. So if you guys have any questions,
I think there was a question that came in from Gregory there.
Gregory, yes. So do you want to answer that, Callie?
Yeah, so I think if you mean social media sort of content, then so I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and I would say that updating the social media content about every 5 days a week, and I think I've realized that it's less about the quantity and more about the quality. So I've done a lot of learning about how to use social media more effectively to market a business. It's not something that comes naturally to me. Oh, Gregory said, as far as lesson plans. So lesson planning. So for the tutors, they are all independent teachers and qualified teachers. So they tutor. Everything's sort of like created for the students on a week-to-week basis. So yeah. Is that what you're asking, Gregory? I'm sorry if I've not got your question correct, but yeah. So that's what the tutors do that work for me. And then that's mainly for like the primary school tuition. So tuition here in the UK, because we've got our set curriculum and it's quite sort of straightforward how to teach it if you're a teacher. But we also teach English as a second language. And for that, I have like a big Google Drive of lesson resources for the team, because the curriculum isn't quite as straightforward for ESL as it is for primary school tuition. So yeah, so that gets updated every term. Yeah.
That's great. Thanks for sharing that. And if there are more questions, definitely let us know. Gregory said that is the answer. I would have supposed you and your team review the content. Yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah. So I guess Another thing maybe a lot of teachers would be interested, right? Because they're not at where you are right now, and they might be very interested in learning how does your day look like, or how does running a tutoring business look like, right? Because it's going to be very, very different from teaching in a classroom or teaching online for agencies, right? Maybe you
Yeah.
can share that a little bit, just help people picturing. So I think one thing I'm always honest to everyone. So you have there are many paths for you to get more income, get more freedom, right? And there are many, many options, and we never say one option is premium, is much better than other options. It's really based on your preference, your goals, right? Your end goals, like what do you want to do, right? Family, time, and all the others, right? And the reason we have Callie, we have so many interviews to help you find the option, find the roadmap, right, that you want to follow. So don't say, oh, Kelly is doing great, I should just follow what Kelly does. No, try to see if this is working for you. If you're not sure, just like what Kelly said, hey, just find an agency or start something, right? Working on as a tutor first and see if you like it, and then start from there. So yeah, back to you, Kelly. You want to help us picture your day for us, please?
Yeah, so it's hard to say because every day is so different.
That's wonderful, because
Yeah,
that's very different from, I guess, a lot of teachers, right? Every day is different. That's already good.
100%. Yeah, yeah, and it definitely has evolved. Like from when I first started tutoring for agencies, like you're selling your time then, so your day is just filled with mostly lessons, and a little bit of time for planning, but that's all you have to fit in. Whereas when you then start running your own business, things start looking a bit different. So yeah, as I said, it looks very different. But say over the course of a normal week, I teach 3 days a week. So I've condensed my teaching hours into 3 days, and I teach sort of a few hours in the morning to students who are predominantly in Asia, and then a few hours after school to children in the UK. So those days are really focused on the students and the lessons. Um, and then my other 2 days a week, I try and keep work to 5 days a week, apart from tonight.
Me too. Me too.
So my other 2 days are the really varied days. So sometimes I will be spending an afternoon setting up a new marketing system. Sometimes I will be focusing on like how I'm communicating any changes to parents and like spending time drafting emails and whatever it might be. Sometimes it's focusing on scheduling for the tutors for the following term. Sometimes it's networking, and I've really learned the power of networking over the last year, and like how valuable it is to dedicate some of your time not to just doing tasks, but to speaking to other people and other business owners. So yeah, every day is different.
Okay, so let me ask another question. So what among all the tasks, right, you do, what is your favorite and what is your least favorite?
Oh, good question. Yeah, yeah. I would say my favorite thing still is teaching the kids. Yeah, I'm a teacher at heart, you know, it's my favorite thing about running my business. And I don't think I ever want to be in the position where I'm not doing any teaching at all, because I love that time spent with the students and seeing them progress. And yeah, how funny children are. It's great working with them. So that's still my number one favorite thing. My least favorite thing. I would say for me, running social media has been my least favorite. I was never sort of like big into social media, like on a personal level. So then trying to do it for business, was challenging. And I spent the first couple of years muddling through. I actually realized, I was looking back through my old Facebook posts, and I realized that I didn't set up my Facebook page until like 6 months into the business. So it was always on the back burner for me. But that's why I've delegated that task. It was the thing that I enjoyed the least, and it's the thing, sort of like the first major thing that I've delegated.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I would imagine the same answer from many teachers, right? You're still a teacher, right? You're still a teacher, so teaching is still the most favorite part. But the fact that you are able to control your time, condense all the teaching into 3 days, right? I have other days for other things. Now, really, the flexibility a lot of teachers would love to have, and the fact that you tell yourself, I only work 5 days a week and don't worry about anything else, right? That's the ownership, the flexibility you have. I think
Yeah.
that's the parts people like having their own business. I do have my control over my time, right? My location, my schedules, everything, right? So, and also decides who I want to work with, because you get to pick, I got to decide to work on what subjects and what things, and also follow your own curriculum. There's a kind of ownership. I think
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons many teachers wanted to go independent, wanted to have their tutoring business, because following, especially if you're working for agencies, companies, these businesses might ask you to follow their curriculum, which is not the best in many cases, right? So thanks for sharing that. Any questions, guys? Don't hesitate. Ask questions if you have anything you want to know more about Kelly's business, Kelly's life, and how she got from being a primary teacher to running her own business right now, her own tutoring business. Right. I guess one more question. That could be a question for a lot of teachers who are already independent. They're very much hesitant to grow to the next level by hiring others, because it's not natural for people to become a manager, to manage people, right? There's a lot of processes involved. Your HR, right? Your trainer, you have to grow the team. So how do you feel about that part, and what are the challenges you had, and how did you overcome that? Because I do believe, in my own experience, right, I have to learn how to manage, how to become a better leader. So how did you manage to do that?
Yeah. So first, before I talk about that, I just want to say, like, growth doesn't have to come from hiring other tutors. Like, if you're an independent tutor and you filled out your schedule, there are so many other ways that you can grow your business before you start.
Yeah.
And you don't have to grow by hiring other tutors, like starting up group sessions and teaching more students in a shorter period of time, increasing your prices. You talk about this a lot, James, as like the first point of call. And I think that does have to be the first point of call before you scale into working with other people. I think working with other people was always quite a joy for me. I love the sort of I that was the big thing that I missed from teaching, was the staff room and working with other teachers and being able to bounce off other teachers. So for me, that felt like a really quite a joyful step to take. And I think you know, I think the biggest thing is always remembering, as a manager, you know, you're not seeing yourself as the big manager and the big boss, and you don't have to manage and lead that way. See yourself as an equal to people, and be a people person, and have empathy for people when their life is difficult. And like, working well with people is my number one tip. And then I think everything after that comes naturally. So my emphasis is on creating a really good relationship with the team that I work with. Number one, because it makes it way nicer to work with a team like that. But number two, then everything else comes more naturally. So, for example, recruiting, a lot of the teachers that I work with have come through word of mouth, and my other team sort of telling their friends about me and about what I do, or talking, if people are looking for jobs on Facebook groups, some of my team have like commented underneath those posts saying, have you heard of Primary Tutor Project? They're great to work for. So I think making yourself someone that's really nice to work with makes recruitment a lot easier, and makes managing a team a lot easier, because if you give, then they give back. So that's my number one tip.
I like that. And that's what I learned as well. So every leader, every manager has their own styles. You don't have to follow others, but people skills and having good relationship, that's kind of crucial as well in this business, because you're not just an owner, just like a boss, right? I think you want to make sure people feel fulfilled, feel good, right, working with you, and then they can better help your clients, your students too. Thanks for sharing that. Good. So speaking of that, and I like the part you reminded me and reminded the audience here, right? When it comes to scaling a business, there are many different ways. So that's something I used to talk a lot. So we talk about vertical scale, vertical model, horizontal model. So horizontal model is where you hiring people, right?
Mm,
So sometimes you get to choose, sometimes you don't get to choose. So depending on the nature of the business you run, right? In your case, it's horizontal, and some of our clients, niche teachers, they are doing vertical model, so they are still like container team within 3-4 people, and then they do more passive stuff like passive like digital courses and things like that to scale their business. You can still get to a very high revenue figure. So speaking of that, I do want to talk about Bowie strategy very quickly. So for those of you who are not familiar with us, we help teachers. That's kind of what I came up recently. I try to boil it down to we help teachers turn their teaching expertise into more income and freedom. So that's really what we want to focus on. We want to focus on the teaching expertise. So how you can monetize your skills, right? So Kelly, you have to be a great teacher to run a great tutoring business, right? If you are not a great teacher, you don't have the teaching expertise, there's no way you can grow a business like that. You might be able to do something else, but what you're doing here, Kelly, is you're turning your teaching expertise into a tutoring business that allow you to have this income and the flexibility we've been talking about, right? So at Bowie Strategy, we actually use 4 methods to help teachers achieve that. The number one is kind of just introduce online teaching, online education to teachers, primarily teachers who are school teachers, classroom teachers. They're not very um, kind of aware of what's happening online world, and that's what you said, just working for agencies or working for some platforms to get started, to get into this online teaching, that even as a side gig that allow you to generate some income on the side to supplement your income, right? That's
and
number
build your
one.
confidence.
Yeah, and also confidence experience, right? Number one. Number two is private tutoring, teaching. That's what you do. How to get students online, how to charge what you're worth, how to get your student, one-on-one student, group students. That's kind of private tutoring, private teaching. That's number two methods, Bowie strategy, what we do to help teachers. Number three, we're looking at the digital assets, products, courses. So as a teacher, you're a subject expert. You know a lot here. How can you download your knowledge into something digital that you can sell again and again and again and again? Right? Even just for $10, if 100 people buy it, it's $1,000, and you didn't do anything. You just create it, so you can sell it, right? And number three, turn your teaching knowledge, your experience, expertise, something you're really good at, into a digital format that you can sell again and again. The number three. Number four is the recurring monthly income with membership. So membership is a very advanced model that allows teachers to teach students or members through 360-degree, like very holistic approach with the teaching, with the materials, with the community. It really helps students, and that gave a lot of teachers semi-passive income and a lot of flexibility. These 4 things we do, and I think Callie is following the second one mostly. So if you are, this is the first time you guys see us, definitely follow us if any of these 4 that you're interested in, right? And yeah, just want to quickly talk about that. If you guys have questions about that, definitely mention that. So another question here, Kelly, from Gregory, can you mention your different company departments, marketing, finance, content development? I guess Gregory very interested in how you structure your business.
Really interesting. Yeah, that's actually an interesting question as a small business owner. How do you sort of categorize these things? Because you as the business owner have to wear all of those hats. So over the last year or so, I've started looking at running my business from that perspective and organizing my time and my tasks and my plans according to those sort of categories. So I'm just looking behind me because I've got like a big, say, task board, project board behind me, which is where I organize all my plans. So I guess it kind of falls into finance, legal. And this is something that a lot of people forget. It's really important that you are compliant. And when you're setting up as your own tuition business, you must be compliant to avoid headaches further down the line. And there's more that comes in, like for anyone in the UK that's doing this, there are some sort of like different legal things in terms of recruiting tutors that you really have to be aware of, but I won't go into that because there's people watching from all over the world. And then service development. So how am I improving the service that we're offering? How am I constantly developing it to be the best that we can be? Marketing, and then, oh, I've got a big group of other stuff that doesn't fall into any category.
It's good. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, basically everything when it comes to running a business, but there are priorities. Which one you focus on first, which one next, right? And I don't think that's what you did, Kelly, at first on the day one. You're just managing it. No, it's not. It's like one thing at a time and start building and growing. Right now, you look back, oh, there's so many things. But if we're just looking at the day one, the problem is that, hey, where can I get my clients? Where can I get my students, right? Marketing and teaching. There's one question we didn't, I actually missed from Con here. Do you need a certificate to become a tutor or owner? What would you say to that?
Nope, it's completely unregulated. And in the UK, even, like, it's a completely unregulated business, which is just a bit crazy because we're working with children. But technically, people can be a tutor without any sort of teaching certificate, and you can tutor children without any sort of like criminal background check. Technically, most agencies like myself, we take safeguarding very seriously. So all of our teachers have to have a DBS check, which is like the UK criminal record check, and a teaching certificate. But like, if you're setting up as an independent tutor, like, there are loads of students who have graduated from university or is still in university and are tutoring. So you don't need that. Good to have it.
Yeah, I never thought about the criminal check. I never thought about that. Yes, it's not very regulated industry. Yeah, you don't need a certificate. Even with some of our clients who teach adults, with doing business English or other things as a coach, so they always ask, do I need to have any certificate to become a tutor, a teacher, a coach to help others? My answer is always like, if you feel like you can get better at teaching, you can get better at helping, and any certificate that allow you to get better, yes, definitely pursue that, because you need to become better and better at helping your students. But if you are stopping yourself because you don't have any certificate, even though you can already help others, and that shouldn't be the case, because nobody's gonna judge you on your certificate. Just think about the days when I was working with my teachers. So I was looking for English teachers online to improve my English. I see all these titles, TEFL, CELTA. I don't know any of these because it doesn't really matter to me. Why it matters to me? So what I look at is the intro video, how they explain themselves, or relevance to what I'm looking for. That's the thing, right? So if everyone, general teacher, was just like checking on the reviews, checking on the price, the reviews. But if some teachers speaking to me specifically, that's make them stand out because I'm from their niche. That's a different topic we're not going to talk about today. But it's telling you guys certificate is not necessary, but a good teaching skill, your quality of teaching is necessary. I have to make that clear. All right, guys. Yeah. So we have 10 more minutes. If you guys have more questions, definitely let us know. Let us know. I guess we want to use the time, Callie, if you don't mind, just summarize for teachers who are thinking about becoming a tutor, becoming an independent tutor, or even running their tutoring business, like what you are doing right now in the future. They're thinking about it, right? What will be the pros and cons, right? Advantages and disadvantages, right? Because there are always two sides of things. So they're nothing like always the best. Maybe we can start with the advantages, the pros that we have already talked about, to summarize. And everyone's watching right now, if you guys have more to help, we can build this list of advantages. So what would you say the first thing, Callie, for being the advantage being?
Yeah, so I would say the first thing is the flexibility that it offers you
Yeah,
compared to working in a school. You're not restricted by schedules and term dates and only being able to go on holiday during expensive school holidays. And again, like with your week to week, like a lot of teachers who leave, it's because they have a family that they need to prioritize. And when you're in the classroom, you are off. I don't know if it's the same everywhere, but certainly in the UK, it just takes over your life, and it's very hard to balance a family around that. You're often not allowed leave for any reason. So if you've got young children, so I think going into tutoring and going into running a business, it gives you so much more flexibility over your schedule.
it's good.
So flexibility, first one,
Really
and
number
then
one.
autonomy. So
Autonomy.
like autonomy over the way that you teach, what you teach and how you teach it, is a really big thing, because you're not restricted by the ever-changing curriculum that you get in school. And you can focus. I think a lot of teachers in public school who have classes full of, like, I think I had 34 students in my year 4 primary school class in my last year before leaving the classroom, and you can't give all the children that need the attention that they need, basically. So having the autonomy to be able to deliver the teaching that students actually need is quite liberating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good. Yeah. So flexibility, autonomy. I think the third one I will add to will be the potential. The potential we mentioned, right? That's one of the reasons I started my business when I was a consultant in consulting. So I can really see like where I'm gonna be in 5 years, 10 years if I just follow that path, right? So it's okay. I mean, if you are okay with that, and a lot of people are looking for security with the predictability, then probably the potential, like I don't know how much I'm gonna make next month. If that concerns you, right? That's one thing. But excites you, yeah, I could have made 10 times than what I made this month, right? So I think the potential, it does give you more potential because you get to charge a little bit more, right? And more, and you get to keep everything yourself, right? That's and there are so many ways to scale the business. So there are a lot of potential out there. So
Yeah.
that's number three.
I was going to add to that, James. Like, I think, so like those three sort of things. And I think if you're in school right now and you're thinking about getting out of it, I think start off with creating your own vision board and doing some work on, like, what is it, how do you want to live your life, and like what is it that you want from life? Because for some people it might not be money, or it might not be sort of like flexibility. They might like schedule and routine, and like, what is it that you actually want, and then how can you create that? Because when you're your own boss, you can create that, whatever it is. And I think having that in mind and thinking about how you can achieve that, so whether it be the flexibility in your life, or like me, I spent I didn't mention this already, but I spent like a year living and tutoring in Spain, and then I moved over to Chile for a while. So like, yeah, whatever it is in your life that you want from it, it's
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's another I guess advantage we can add to is the flexibility of location,
Yeah.
right? Which where you want, and a lot of our clients are digital nomads. They just like that style at least right now. So if you want to be able to travel around and still making enough income to cover your costs, online tutoring, private tutoring, right? There's so many options we have already mentioned can allow you, support you with with that lifestyle. All right, so there may be more. If you guys have think about any more, let us know the advantages, the pros of being a tutor, independent tutor, having your tutoring business, right? So what will be the cons, the disadvantage, or things that just want to give people heads up? So this is not something like perfectly good and a good option, right? No, there are always disadvantages. What will be the first one you can think of, Callie?
I would say it's a lot of work. And particularly when you're in those initial stages, like, one of my visions and goals is to be able to work fewer hours, but to be able to enable that, it's not just like how you see on Instagram the digital nomads like living this life of travel and luxury. Like, it doesn't just instantly happen. You have to work to get it to where you want it to be. And when you've gone from having a boss to being your own boss, there's nobody telling you what you have to do. And so sort of learning what you have to do to be able to make these things happen takes time and self-discipline.
Discipline. Discipline. The first one will be a lot of work, and it's hard to disconnect with your own business. So if you're a teacher, right? Let's say if you have a weekend, you don't have to worry about. I mean, probably some of you have to worry about your teaching, but during the summer break, winter break, right? But there's no actually a break. If you have your own business, you have to always think about it and discipline that you mentioned. Also, risk, I guess, is a higher risk than having a job. Yes, no, I wouldn't say everyone gonna succeed or everyone gonna succeed in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, right? It takes work. It takes a lot of learning and the challenges, to make it work. So the risk is high. But like what you said, Callie, just experience a little bit before you go full in, right? Experience and a vision board. Really see if this is what you want and help you understand your path. And remember, we have 4 different methods to help teachers. The private tutoring, having tutor business is one of them. I like this one, but if you don't feel like you are very entrepreneurial, you don't feel like running a business, your thing, right? There are many other things you can do to supplement your income to get more flexibility, more freedom as a teacher. Okay, thanks for sharing that, Callie. And if there's any other questions, let us know, guys. And before we go, I do want to remind you 2 more things that end up this month in May. So the number 1 will be the teacher appreciation week. I don't think that's what's happening next week in the UK, Callie. So this is in the US. We have this teacher appreciation week next week.
That's nice.
Teacher appreciation week. So I didn't know that. I didn't know that much, but because my daughter goes to daycare now, they actually have these kind of activities all week, and the teachers at my daughter's daycare actually get 30 minutes early on Friday. Actually, the school takes them to a Red Sox game in Boston or something like that.
Cool.
So I just feel like we want to do something as well, because this is what we do. We help teachers. So we have this teacher appreciation Zoom celebration on Friday next week. We're gonna have other things. I'm actually gonna send out email. If you are on our email list, I'm gonna send you an email about our activities next week. There are quite a few things we're gonna do, and there are prizes. Okay, we want to give out to teachers. So I'm gonna share the link with you. So if you already have the monthly events, the homepage, you click on register for free. It will take you to this link, and then just put your name, email down here, and register. You will receive the link to join the live session, right? And also the replay. If you cannot join us, I would recommend that you're gonna register to receive the recording if you want to be part of this. So this event, we're gonna just connect all the teachers from all over the place, all of in our community, and we're gonna have activities, giveaways, and special shout outs, all different things. So we plan 2 hours for this event. If you can join even just 30 minutes, that would be great. Just be part of this event, teacher appreciation weekly Zoom celebration. Go to the homepage, you will be able to register. Another one is my 2-hour free workshop. So we talk about these 4 methods we use to help teachers make more income and freedom. One of them, the 4th one I explained, is membership. I'm actually going to do a 2-hour free workshop about how teachers can run a membership program where they can better support their students, their members, and get monthly recurring income. If you click on this link, and you will be able to register and receive the Zoom link, all that, and be able to join us in the Zoom session. It's a 2-hour session on May 23rd. Even if you cannot join us live, you can receive the replays recordings if you register. And also there are links for you to add this event to your calendar if you haven't yet, right? So I'm gonna share these links with you right now. And for Callie, while I'm sharing the links. Callie, anything else you want to share with all the teachers who watched the live right now or joining the watching the recording in the future? What would you say to them as a previous primary teacher now running a business? What do you want to say to them?
Go for it. You're capable. You have all the skills and more than you need to be able to do this. If I could do it, anyone can do it. Honestly, just go for it. It's so rewarding, and yeah, it's a wonderful choice. But just to add as well, like if anybody who's watching this afterwards and wants to ask me questions, feel free to connect. I'm on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. So yeah, you can drop me a message and ask me any questions. Happy to answer.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I forgot to mention that. Do you mind? Let me see here. Where do you want people to find you?
So feel free to find me on Facebook at Primary Tutor Project. I'm on LinkedIn as Primary Tutor Callie, and Callie Moya on LinkedIn. So feel free to connect with me wherever you are.
Yeah, it's good. So let me actually find you on Facebook. I'll share the link with you guys. Just a minute. Yeah, I like what you said there, Callie. Go for it. Why not? So and their steps. Yes, it's their steps. It's not like tomorrow you're gonna become Callie. You quit all your job and then you try to grow your business. You don't have to do that. Start slow, one step at a time, and manage the risks as well, right? So and something you mentioned, Callie, earlier, the mindset. You're gonna a lot of people are gonna get a lot of challenges with their mindset. So that takes some time to really shift your mindset, overcome a lot of challenges with your mindset. If you do too much, you're gonna quit very quickly. So that happens with a lot of our clients if they don't manage their steps no carefully.
Yeah, there's so much out there to help. Like there's so many Facebook groups that you can join, exit the classroom. There's all sorts out there that you could just start by following them and just see what people talk about. Be a silent watcher.
Yep. Follow us at Bowie Strategy and follow Callie if you want to ask her more questions, and send you guys all links, right? If you're watching the recording, you can find these links in below this video as well. Bookmark our events homepage and join our Teacher Appreciation Week Zoom session on Friday next week, and join the membership workshop if you have time on May 23rd, and follow Callie. I sent her Facebook link there. Follow Callie and ask her questions. We have more. All right. So I think that's it for today. And just to wrap up, like what Callie said, just do it. If Callie can do it, I can do it. You can do it too. I guess it's not about succeeding in it yet. It's really just take a one small step. Try to experience, right? Don't just hold back too much. Hey, experience something to see if this is for you. There are many, many options. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Callie, for today's session. Really appreciate your time on a Sunday evening. I really appreciate that. And all the best. Best luck with your business. And hopefully we can get together, get back in a few months and talk a little bit more about tutoring business, about helping more teachers to realize their dreams. Thank you very much, Callie. And thanks for everyone for being here, staying with us on Sunday. And let us know what you like and what you don't like. Give us feedback to help us grow, and follow us, and let us help you when we can. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. Take care. Bye bye. Bye, everyone.